When we talk about CSS, colors are usually one of the first things people get excited about, and honestly for a good reason. Colors are not just about making a website look nice, they directly affect how users feel, how they understand information, and how they remember a brand. Take an example of this application. Do you know this one? Yeah, of course it is WhatsApp, and you're right. And this one? Yes, again you're right, this is Twitter. But how about this one? Okay, if you are unable to guess this one, then remember that different colors create different emotions, and that is why almost every big brand is very careful about the colors they choose. Just in case if you are curious about knowing this one, it is again the same WhatsApp but without colors. So let us jump right into the video and understand colors, including all of these things. In case you are not subscribed yet, click on that subscribe button and also like this video and share it with your friends as well. I have already created a folder and then the index.html file and style.css. Type exclamation mark and accept this boilerplate. Make sure to link CSS. Now we have this boilerplate code ready, and just we will do our basic thing: body color white and background color as black. So the basic thing when we learn about colors is understanding the difference between color and background color. The color is used for the text and the background color is used for the background. For example, let us have a div h2 inside it, and let us open this with live server, and here we have it, the page with text color as white and the background as black. So that is what we have here. The text color should be white and the background color should be black. So this is the first thing where a lot of beginners get confused about what is this color and what is the background color, and sometimes we do not type it as background color, we just type background, and that is also enough, and we can see it does not change our page. The next thing we have, how do we write these colors? And the most basic way how we write is as we did here, by the color name. And for example, if I change the color of h2, I can do it with color is red, and if I go inside our page, we can see that this text has red color. This is the simplest and easiest way to write the colors, but it is very limited. We have approximately near around 140 named colors. We do not have a lot of options, and this is not used in real production grade applications. So for that, we need to learn about the other ways to write colors. The next format is RGB, which goes like this, RGB, and then we type how much of red do we want. For example, I want 100 of red, 20 of green, and 0 of blue. But I am sure this will not be visible on our page, so I am going to change it to something different, maybe 200 of this and 200 of this. Now it should be visible, and here you see it. So here we define how much of red we want, how much of green we want, and how much of blue we want. And there is one more thing here we mention is the alpha. For example, we can type 50% transparent, and then this will be 50% see-through. This alpha is the opacity. If we keep 0% opacity, then it is completely transparent and we will not be able to see anything. But if we keep it as 10%, then it should be barely visible, and if we keep it at 100%, then it should be completely visible. So that is about the alpha value. One more way of writing color is using the hex value. We use hash for that, and inside here we have again the same thing, how much of red I want, but in the hexadecimal format. So for example, I want full of red and then nothing from blue, full from green as well. If we see inside our page, we have this color, and here also we can add the opacity. So for example, we can have something like any value, and here inside our browser, if we see, there is some opacity as well. But you do not always need to guess these. We will see how we can get the better colors. I will show you some better way to do that. Stay tuned till the end of the video so that you will understand that as well. And also I will share you a bonus tool where you can play around with the colors which I have created myself for you. You will enjoy exploring colors inside that tool. Then we have the next format, that is HSL. It stands for hue, saturation and lightness. For example, let us have this value for hue, this for saturation, and this for lightness. And you can see we got something like aqua color. So these are the percentages. We have the percentage of saturation and percentage of lightness, and then we can mention the alpha as well. For example, 50% opacity. And if you want to switch between different color formats, you can do it from VS Code itself. For example, you see this color, we have this HSLA here, but if you do not want HSL, you want something else, you can do it here. You can change it to any different format. We have various other formats as well. And For example, maybe you like this concise format, then you can choose this hex color code. And if you want to change the colors, you can use this color palette from VS Code. You can use this slider to change the color. So for example, I choose this color and maybe 100% opacity. And then if we go inside our page, we see that color is applied. So you do not need to rely on those named colors, and you can use different various other color formatters. Now the problem which I talked about earlier, that is the beginners struggle to choose good colors. Actually, this improves with experience as you build more and more pages. How I do this is with this website. I use Tailwind Colors. So it has different colors with different shades. For example, if we have 50 unit shade of red, then it would look like this, and then going along with the shade with 950 units of red. And I just pick some color from this and then I use it here inside the code. That is how I do it. Maybe if you are curious about this color format, why this website uses this color format, Tailwind CSS is very popular CSS framework, and hopefully in future we are going to use it and we are going to explore it in detail. But for now, let us understand what is new in this, and this is Mordern. The HSL was built for the humans, how humans think about the colors. The hex code or RGB formats were mostly for machines, but the HSL format was how humans think about colors. But it failed in some way. Let me give you a tour of the tool which I was talking earlier in the video. The playground I built for the colors. You can play around with these different formats. And so for example, let us first go with yellow. In our master controller, if I type yellow, it will give me value for all of these. For example, hex code for the yellow, and then RGBA for yellow, then HSL for yellow, and OKLCH for yellow color. So for example, what I am doing is I will compare these two. I told you that HSL was built for how humans think about colors. That was hue, then we had saturation, and then we have lightness. And that is how we think about colors. First is the hue, and then saturation, and then the lightness. So I will save this color, and it is saved right here. Then we have blue. Just take a look at here. This is 50%, and similarly for yellow we have 50% of lightness. So I will save this one as well. These both colors are saved. Now I will go for yellow for OKLCH, but here you can see that this is not 50% lightness, so I will make it 50. Then I will save it, and then we will go for blue, and here it is not 50%. It goes from 0 to 1, and this in the middle is 50%, so I choose the 50% and I save it. Now you can see we have HSL values for these colors, for the same colors, and for the same colors we have OKLCH with 50% lightness. Now what I want you to see is this. For example, I will zoom it for you and see. If I want you to observe this one, what do you see? Do you see that yellow looks more bright than blue? I hope you can see that, although they have the same brightness. 50% brightness and 50%, but this looks more brighter than this. But now let us have a look at this one. If you see, both of these, the yellow and the blue, have the similar brightness. So if you are able to understand that thing, and that is the reason why we need this Mordern OKLCH format and why Tailwind is using this format. This was just an extra information I wanted to give to you. Then the next thing we have is the gradients. For that, I will create a box. We have selected this element with the class, and if you are unable to understand the selectors, check out the previous section which was about the selectors. I will give it a width of maybe 15 rem and the height of 15 rem. You already know we have to give it a background, then only it will be visible, and we will give it a background of, I will choose this one. So we have this square right here. We want gradient. Here is a catch for beginners. For example, if I type background color, there is no problem with that and it will work. But now if I type linear gradient, I have to give it first color, which will be, for example, the green color, and then maybe yellow. And you can see our box is not visible. If I comment this line, I type background color aqua, you can see it is visible. What is going on here? Why does the background color not work? Because the gradient is not actually a color, it is image. So we have to type background image instead of background color. But if you are typing just background, that is also fine. But if you want to be explicit, then you type background image, not the background color. So you can see we have this gradient right here, and we can add as many colors as we want. For example, red here, and you can see we have this ugly looking gradient right here. We type it green and yellow, and it goes from top to bottom. But if I want it to go towards left, it will go from left to right. And if I want it to go to right, then it will go from left to right. And you can change it to radial, and that is how we will have the radial gradient. It starts from the center and then blends towards the edges of the box. So now you can do some nice things, whatever you wish to do with gradients. I will keep this short just to not make the video much longer, but if you want any help from me, just type it in comments and I will definitely help you out with anything you want. And now at the end we have the accessibility. As you know, we talk about the accessibility. We do not skip it because accessibility ensures that our website is accessible to everyone, not just those whose vision is perfect. So for that we have to meet AA and AAA guidelines, which defines that how much contrast is acceptable. There is a good thing that you do not need to remember those numbers or anything like that. To understand it better, I have added one paragraph right here and also I added this class right here. Now I will style this text dot text and maybe the paragraph inside this color as blue. I will give it a width of 10 rem. That is it, and we can go inside our browser and we can see our text is right here. But you can notice there is something off. This is not perfectly visible, but you do not need to guess it. Right click on the page and choose inspect. You will see the stylus tab. Click on this icon right here, then click on this paragraph. You click on this paragraph, it will show you this right here inside the stylus. And then if you click on this color, you will have this pop-up, and here you will see the contrast ratio, and you can see that it is below the AA guidelines and below the AAA guidelines as is indicated by these cross symbols. So to meet that criteria, currently your color is right here, but if you want to meet AA guidelines, then you have to keep it somewhere between these two lines, and if you want to meet AAA guidelines, which is even better, then you would keep it somewhere around here. So instantly you can see it looks nice and it looks even readable. And now you can see there are check for these things at the bottom. Both AA and AAA guidelines are now met. You can just copy this value and paste it inside here. Then we have one more thing, which is the emulation of the vision deficiencies. So the Chrome DevTools has a very nice feature of emulating such deficiencies. For example, I will press Command Shift P and I will search for show rendering, and it opens the rendering tab inside the Chrome DevTools. Then I will scroll all the way to the bottom and we can see this emulate vision deficiencies option. You can see a lot of options what a person can have. For example, blurred vision. If someone has blurred vision, how will they see your website? And this is how they will be able to see it. Then for example, someone has reduced contrast vision. This is how they will see it. Someone has protanopia and you can see that is removed from this. And similarly, there are other difficulties. You can check them one by one, and this is the very nice feature which we have inside this Chrome DevTools. And if you want me to create a separate video for all of these options and maybe for complete Chrome DevTools, let me know in the comments. And also if you want any help related to anything you did not understand or you have any difficulty about, drop a comment and I will help you out. That is it for this video. I hope you understood a lot and I hope you are going to enjoy the next sessions as well. And this is your host Qurashi Akeel, and see you in the next one. Fi amanillah.